first point of accountability is asking questions.
Hello and welcome to Plus Sports and Plus TV Africa. I am Udoka Njoko.
Hi everyone, welcome to Plus Training.
You cannot continue to recycle poverty while you're spending a lot of money on unproductive ventures.
The government has to feel the impact.
Honorable Commissioner, sir, welcome to the show.
If you come out here and you build something of great value, you can make it. That's what's amazing about Silicon Valley, and that's why you see everyone flocking towards Silicon Valley.
It's really that place where there's this groundswell of smart people dedicated to using technology to solve very difficult problems.
I was like, oh my God, people just think of these things and it just happens, and how can I build something? I just want to build something from scratch.
We come here ready to make something of ourselves. So when an African leaves Africa and comes here, we're coming here to do battle.
Hi, my name is E, and I am Managing Director and Co-founder of Flutterwave. And Flutterwave is one API for payments across Africa.
Hi, my name is Jonas Beshouted, CEO and founder of Stackshare. Stackshare is the best place for engineers and developers to discover and compare software tools.
Hi, my name is Bukola. I consider myself a connector. I build platforms to reach African audiences back home, as well as here in the US, to tap into their common interest. This is exactly what I've done with Jandus.
Mall for Africa is an online platform that enables US and UK retailers easily sell into Africa without any hassles or worries. We also help people in Africa purchase items from UK and US retailers. I was born and raised in Nigeria, so out of necessity, I guess, my parents and brothers and friends thought they could utilize me as their shipping company. There was one day in particular, I went to the airport and I had 10 suitcases. And I remember vividly the lady across the counter, it was a Delta flight, the lady across the counter looking at me up and down you are not serious, this is not gonna happen. So I decided to build an app.
Jandus Radio started off with just word of mouth. I sent it to a couple of friends who wanted to listen to live radio back home. We didn't have a lot of apps that were catering to African content and radio at that time. So I sent it out to them and they sent it to their friends. And before you know it, it actually was a trending topic in Nigeria on Twitter for I think it was 12 hours straight. People were talking about, oh my God, I have an app that has over 300 radio stations. I'm in Abuja, I can listen to Beat FM. Beat FM is the most popular station in Lagos. And they're like, oh my God, I could never listen to this before. Now with this app, I can listen to my favorite station now.
I'm working on a platform product, which is payments, right? And I started digging into that and realized it was an absolute nightmare to be a developer and get paid in Africa. I'll give you an example. Up until recently, if you were an Android developer in Africa, you had to put your apps up for free. You couldn't make money on your apps because there was no way for Google to pay you. We're not just enabling people the ability to increase revenue by providing them new means of payment, but we're also enabling them to access global technology services by doing so, right? That is revolutionary.
The concept was, let's bring all of these tools that you use to build your company and your apps and infrastructure, let's bring them into one place and organize it. And other industries had done it. You know, Yelp has done it for restaurants, you know, TripAdvisor for travel and international places. So this wasn't really a new concept, but no one had really done this for software. If you think about it today, you know, where do you go for software decisions? It's still Googling around, and it's mad. We were actually the first site to really do that. You know, there were other sites that were trying to do sort of similar things. They've done software reviews, but we were actually the first site to say, you know, share all the software that you're using.
For an average entrepreneur in Silicon Valley, there are stages to what the venture funding cycle looks like. You have to start off with a seed stage. You have to be able to get people who believe in you early enough to take a risk in your idea. Every time an entrepreneur describes what they do, it usually has to hit the points of, I saw a problem, it was very unique, I had a solution, it was very unique, I was able to get, or I should be able to get somebody to pay me for my solution, but I should be able to repeat that so many times that it becomes scalable and sustainable.
I know people who have joined a startup that thinks it's going to be the next big thing. And then you just wake up one morning and they didn't get the funding round and it's lock up shop. And that's it. Happens a lot more often than it's talked about. We hear about the Facebook and Google and Apple and all the other startups that are successful, but 1 out of a million succeed and the rest fail.
Silicon Valley is probably the Disneyland of capitalism, is a good way to put it. It is a place where you can come and make your dreams come true, and particularly in the technology space, it's a really a good ecosystem to get things done.
Things. And right now, we have partner funds on all the continents except Africa. So we're actively looking for a fund that fits the kind of profile we're looking for. They're investing in early stage technology companies.
It's not an exact science. A lot of it's just character assessment. People who are trying to build something bold versus like copying an idea. In it for the long term, have the tenacity and ambition to see it through, boldness. Yeah, definitely think e-commerce is a huge area, allowing Africans to buy products they couldn't otherwise access easily, particularly without having to build huge malls and, you know, kind of leapfrogging retail. Financial services is also a big area. FinTech, anything around telemedicine, because you know, access to doctors is really hard in Africa.
What everybody hears is you raise the 100 million, they say, yeah. But that's not success. Success is lasting long enough till you can exit, either through an acquisition or an IPO, and the money that the investors get in becomes liquid and fungible. So a lot of businesses I've seen don't make it out of the exit, and that means everybody gets washed out. You just spend 7-8 years of your life working on this thing that didn't pan out.
The 5 or 6 most valuable companies on the stock exchange are technology companies that were once venture-backed. So it's a compelling story about how people that invest in high-risk ventures are able to move a society forward because they were willing to make the investment when those ventures looked silly. And one thinks maybe this could happen in Africa.
We belong to the school of thought that that believes very firmly that Africa's future will be built on the back of entrepreneurs. We are firmly rooted in bridging those knowledge gaps and making sure that the interconnectedness between Africa and the rest of the world comes in forms of capital, in forms of education and resources, and mostly it's people and their ability to think and grow beyond what's currently attainable by using technology to flatten the playing field.
Zibracorn is going to be a company that's built in Africa, for Africa, and scaled in Africa. It could become a unicorn by going beyond Africa, but made in Africa, scaled in Africa, serves multiple African markets. And that's really what distinguishes Zibracorn.
So the first piece of code I wrote was my freshman year in college. I was like 16. I took Java, and it was a program to like animate some radio, and I was able to code it, and I'm like, oh wait, it works. Like, I just wrote code. I typed stuff and I ran it and it worked. I got thrown into mobile app development towards like 2000.
You know, growing up, I was like the tech person within our family. You know, people would always look to me. So I'd always been interested in it, but I'd never considered it as a real career path because I didn't have someone that I could point to that was in that industry. Everyone I knew was, you know, sort of outside of tech.
I started to look at the internet as this space where it didn't matter who you were, but you were able to reach the most amount of people.
Hey, good to meet you, I'm Mark.
Mark Zuckerberg was my earliest influence. I've continued to be influenced by his approach to tech because it's the perfect mix of social mission, right, and economic impact. It's not about building a big company, and neither is it about being an NGO and giving everything away. It's about building a system.
Introducing Mall for Africa,
So let's say you are in a rural town in Nigeria. Download the app on your preferred device, find the product you want. Once you've added it to the cart, you click on Our Pay button, and as they say, that's when the magic happens. We take the content from the cart, we put it in our environment, and now we allow you to select where you want to have the item shipped, how you want to pay for the product. Once you've made the payment for the product is then shipped from the site you purchased it from. It's shipped to our warehouse. Then we tag it, and then we ship it out to you, taking care of all customs, duties, fees, and making sure everything goes perfectly right.
When I turned 25, kind of just reviewing the 5 years, I kind of settled on this vision of the world that was about building the future of Africa. And for me, it settles on three things. So it's a remarkably clear vision of what I want to do, and it's very simple. It's people, it's platforms, and it's policy.
Andela is a platform for tech-powered growth.
Its future will be written in Lagos,
Nairobi,
and cities across Africa.
And that was what we did at Andela, right? Found really smart young people, very motivated, with high learning agility, paid them while we taught them how to build software, and then got Facebook and Google and IBM and all these companies to hire them to build products for them.
This is Andela.
So what Flutterwave is, it's an API that enables anyone from anywhere in the world to process any kind of payment across Africa. We are finally making financial inclusion real.
Every time I went to one of these hackathons, I'd see a new API and I'd think, man, I should know about that. Like, there should be this one online space that has all the best stuff and feedback from developers and engineers and people actually building software, you know? I was like, man, this should exist and I should just go build it, you know? And so I just treated it as a side project at first. At the time, it was called LeanStack. Eventually, I got introduced to this guy named Nick Grandy, and he was the first employee at Airbnb. So we started working together for about 6 months. We built out the first real version of LeanStack at the time. And then he actually stayed on as an advisor, and he was the first investor. So, you know, that was big.
We had a hosting company that had malfunction in their servers, and they deleted the whole database by accident and had no backup. Sadly, we had to shut down temporarily, but we're working on rebuilding.
We believe the best way to solve this problem is to show you what the best companies in the world are using and why.
The transition was, it's like realizing that the best thing we can do is try to mimic an in-person conversation between two people, the two engineers, right? It's like, okay, what's the problem you're trying to solve? Oh, okay, well, we don't have good visibility into how our app is performing in production. Okay, well, here's what we use, right? Like, here's how we solve that problem, right? And you tell them what you use, and then like within 30 minutes, it's like, okay, I know that I need to use that now because I trust this person, I trust their decision-making process, and it sounds like a good one to go with, so let me go with that.
I have a passion for creating products that I am interested in and that I'm passionate about. It's tough because at the same time, you have to make a living. And being a startup founder, you don't always have the means to provide for yourself. I didn't have any of that, any serious investors. So after a while, I just to keep myself from not starving, I actually had to break down and actually get a 9-to-5 just so I can provide for myself.
I basically just kept at it because I saw the value of it and I saw that it was picking up steam. I could see it getting easier.
So you typically wake up around 4:35 because that's when the first calls are. My team all over the world, I try and talk to them as regularly as I can. I'll probably end around 12, only because I like to sync up with some banks and team members very early in the morning when they wake up. So it's a lot of work and not a lot of sleep.
Definitely, it's a lot of work because the 9-to-5 does take a lot of your time. But always in your free time, even if it's an hour or 2 hours a day that you can find, I'm always doing that. I'm working on something right now, that I'm hoping is gonna be very massively successful once I'm ready.
You go to a venture capital in Palo Alto on Sanio Road and you say, hey, I'm trying to raise funds for my African company. And they look at you and they say, are people buying Ralph Lauren? Are people buying Louis Vuitton? Do they know who Prada is?
So I think part of the challenge with being black in tech is that there just aren't enough black people in tech. When you see all the big companies, they all have like co-founders that went to school together. And when you grow up with people that aren't in tech, you don't have the luxury of saying, okay, I'm going to start a company and I know exactly who I'm going to tag and bring in as co-founders or early employees.
What role do networks play here in Silicon Valley? I think it's a huge, huge role. It might be the distinctive of Silicon Valley, how over time these networks have grown. Cold call somebody or send a cold email to somebody and say, hey, I saw this thing that you did, and surprise, surprise, they respond.
There's a lot of work that has to be done, the cultural preparation of what to expect in the Valley. And sometimes it's the most ridiculous, mundane, simple things. Punctuality at meetings, the way you approach people, email etiquette, business etiquette. It's the simplest things that have profound consequences within a cross-cultural scenario.
Growing up in Nigeria, as an African in Nigeria, I have natural networks. I have cousins, I have brothers, I have classmates. I like to say I can get to the president in Nigeria, whereas in the US, I can't even get to my mayor. If you are not from here, it's very difficult for you to have a social network. You have to create that social network yourself.
We want to make it.
If you came into Silicon Valley and you're a well-trained research and development professional and you went to Stanford or UCSF and you were a specialist in what you do, you'll get a great job and you'll get well paid. If you came into Silicon Valley and you were of African descent and you knew nobody in the Valley, it would take you a longer time.
In Africa, I'm an Igbo man. I don't even know that I'm black because everybody's black. It's like asking a fish what is water. So Silicon Valley also has the aspect of the fact that it's about 3% black, which a lot of people don't realize until they get here.
Where I work right now, I'm the only female mobile engineer. I'm also the only black mobile engineer. It's not something that I expected. The culture fit is still a big topic here. You wouldn't think that people can refuse to hire you because you don't fit into a culture.
It's happened in small ways where, you go to a meeting with an investor and you can tell that they're They just don't want to hear what you have to say. And, maybe it's your venture, maybe it's like what you're working on, but sometimes you can kind of feel that it's just because of you and like your color, and they're not even open to it. They just don't have to deal with people of color on a regular basis. From my perspective, I just brush it off and I'm just like, okay, not for me, let's move on.
If a company just invested time and said, look, we're going to sponsor you, we're going to provide your visa, your work visa, to come to Silicon Valley and work for us, you'll have this opportunity. But they're not going that route. And you have to ask yourself why. There's talent. These people are brilliant.
One of the ways to solve that is just making sure that tech is part of that pool of options for us, to make it the norm, right? Where when they see an African entrepreneur or a black founder, it's like, oh, that's normal.
Hey, it's good. How's it going? I'm back sooner than you thought, huh? Yeah. How was the integration? Was it good?
What you want to do as an African in the Valley is really plug into as many networks as you can, because that's ultimately kind of how you find the people who are ultimately going to root for your success.
I definitely see myself doing this for the next, at least 5 to 10 years. And I think anytime you're building a company, you have to be thinking long term. I'm also a realist, and I know that if the worst happens, right, we get to a certain stage where it's like, look, we've sort of like exhausted all of our options, and this is the best we can do with this thing. There'll be something else that I work on.
I think the biggest impact that an African entrepreneur can have on Africa is to be seen, be a role model. Be something and someone that people want to aspire to be like. Be successful.
Thank you, Eddie. All right.
Apple actually has a woman of African descent. She's actually Ghanaian. That's one of their top people in marketing. Her name is Bozoma St. John. And that's what I'm trying to achieve. I don't want to fit in, because I feel like when you fit in, you don't stand out.
Come on, y'all.
I love the Valley, but I only love it to the extent that I can establish these networks between the Valley and Africa that make Africa better. And I think that's ultimately the vision of Africa that we believe Flutterwave is going to enable. One Africa, starting with unified financial infrastructure.
I'm doing 7 figures, even 8 figures a year. This is a really good idea, and it's a good company to work with. My vision for Mall for Africa is bigger than Mall for Africa. It's actually a Mall for the world. The vision is to help other emerging markets via a brand Mall for the world, and we've already started doing that.
We are sitting on a huge powder keg of potential in Africa. Over the next 20 to 30 years, more than half of the world's working population is going to live in Africa. It's the second largest continent in the world by size and by people. I don't think there's any narrative of the world that is complete without Africa being a major part or player in it. For us, winning means being able to come back in 10, 15 years and say, technology changed Africa, and you were in part of one of the greatest wealth creation, value creation opportunities in modern history. That's what winning is.
Okay.
Hello?
Hey, how you doing?
Hi everyone. Since we last met, we have made a lot of progress and done a lot of great things. We're under a new name called Mall for the World, which is same thing as Mall for Africa, but outside of Africa.
I have released a new app called Afrocast, and basically it's a podcast aggregator for millennials. So far we are in beta. We have over 300 users, so I'm really excited about that.
We launched a new jobs platform that allows engineers to essentially find jobs based on the technology they're familiar with. We've had our best month ever in terms of traffic. We were also featured in Software Development Times, online magazine. for engineers and developers.
Flutterwave has been doing really well. Since that time, we've more than 10 times our total process volume. So we do about $500 million in total process volume, and we do more than $100 million in total process volume every month.
Come back to the West Coast.
This is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Bookie November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
First point of accountability is asking questions.
Hello and welcome to Plus Sports and Plus TV Africa. I am Udoka Njoko.
Hi everyone, welcome to Plus Trending.
You cannot continue to recycle poverty while you're spending a lot of money on unproductive ventures.
The government has to feel the impact.
Honorable Commissioner, sir, welcome to the show.
and welcome to Tea Time on Plus TV Africa. How are you doing? Thank you for tuning in to the baddest entertainment analysis show that does it better than any other person. Yes, I said it myself. Come on, drag me. While sipping tea, we serve you with the hottest news, celebrity breakdown, and everything pertaining lifestyle. If it's hot, then Ifelua and myself, and another special anchor, Emerald, who's joining us today. We'll definitely talk about it, so please welcome with me, Emerald. Hi.
Did they actually drag you?
It's okay.
They'll fling you out of this.
No, it's all right. I don't think you've seen me on Twitter. I don't have manners, though.
No, I don't even mean Twitter.
There's
They're
no-
like physical.
How they
dragging.
physically drag me? I don't do hooligan behaviors, fair. I rather be doing physical fights.
They're
with
telling them to
somebody.
go and drag you.
On the internet now, do they know where I live?
Oh, so now you're scared?
Scared. I'm just not a hooligan.
I know your bedroom.
Huh?
Come and drag me in my room.
Okay, whatever.
Why are you saying that they'll drag her? Like they'll
No,
drag
I was
her.
just trying to make a joke, but it's
Okay.
an inside joke.
We're laughing. Anyway, I know this is not your first time on this table, but it's your first time with me.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling very special. But I know Ife has already experienced you. So, more she like you
That
tell us.
doesn't sound right. If I was already experienced.
Yeah, I'm not as polluted now, Ife. That's
I
fine.
don't get it.
We were children of
If I was
God.
already experienced.
How was it like anchoring the show with her?
I think you figure it out yourself.
Oh, okay, let's do it then. The first topic we have for today is Dre's wife, who's Nicole Young, has basically said that Dr. Dre bought a house worth $2 million for one of his mistresses. Dr. Dre's estranged wife, Nicole Young, has asked the court to investigate his alleged mistresses, actually. According to reports, Young wants the court to investigate if the music mogul is responsible for the bills of the women. Young wants the three women who our claims are intimate with Dr. Dre's during their marriage to sit for dispositions. In the documents obtained by the media, Young claims an attorney representing one of the alleged girlfriends is trying to delay their dispositions until the validity of their prenup is decided. In one instance, Young said she wants lawyers to speak with one of the alleged mistresses and find out if her estranged husband got her a house worth $2.15 million. The music mogul and his estranged wife have been loggerheads since their marriage crashed. Nicole Young filed the paperwork for the divorce on Monday, June 29 of 2020, which is last year, citing the usual inconsistible differences as the reason for their split up for the hip-hop mogul. Basically, she's saying that the three girls that Mr. Dre is seeing, his tutoring behind, she wants them to come and sit down. The couple got married in 1996, so if you're not up to that, then you can calculate how much their marriage has lasted for, and they're blessed with 2 adult children. Young was formerly married to the NBA player Sedale Lethrit and is now a trained lawyer, so I guess she knows her stuff. But yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense for me, because I remember when the story first came on the table, we were like, why is she asking for so much money? Why is, like, if you've been married for 25 years, you should
24.
obviously, 24 rather, you should, well, they'll be 25 this year. 1996, you'll be 25 this year.
25
Yes,
this year.
I'm old.
Are you 1996?
No. That's why I'm old. Anyway, so that's another reason why I can see why she's a lot more vicious with the whole divorce thing. But 3 mistresses, if your husband, Emerald, had 3 mistresses that he had bought a house for $2.1 million, would you go hard at him when it's time to divorce him?
Of course. 3 mistresses.
Not 1.
3. And he's spent such an amount of money. Definitely go hard on him.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean, that's like, not like I want to retaliate, but I mean, that's the best way to call it off.
Yeah,
I'd say.
I agree.
So you guys believe that revenge is the right
I
way
just
to
said
go?
it's not like I want to revenge, but if you want to go out or do whatever with 3 mistresses and
Why wait till the time of what's it called now, divorce, for you to actually, lay claims to what is
How else
right
would she
for
do it if
yours?
it's not a divorce?
So you think you have to wait for divorce? If
How
your
else
husband
would she
has-
collect her money?
There's
if it's
no
not
other
divorce?
means.
So
There's
what
no
do you
other
guys?
means of
I
getting
need
the
to
money.
get your points here right now when it comes to Dr. Dre and his wife, and she asking for a lot of money and him having that. How are we putting that together? How are we putting the?
Okay, so if I've been married to someone for 25 years, only to find out now that he is sponsoring a bunch of women. That contradicts to everything. Now, even legally speaking, you have broken the contract because we're supposed to be one item, right?
Yeah.
So if you're going to now say that this relationship, this marriage means nothing to you because you've obviously nullified our contract, I'm going to then state that since you are out there blessing other women, because already, even if I'm going to divorce you, there has to be spousal support, especially when you're married in that kind of lifestyle. What's the argument now that you already maintained some type of lifestyle for so many years?
Yeah.
You have to keep up with it. So what's the problem if I don't ask for money for the divorce?
Did you see how much she's asking for monthly?
Did you see how much he is spending on his mistress?
So it's not like he cannot.
2.1 million, you know, for a house that a woman would live in for a lifetime. And then $1 million monthly as spousal support. That's a stretch.
So the mistress and the wife are we supposed to be collecting the same amount of money?
Well, you're not collecting the same amount because it's just sorted out for the rest of our life. Do you understand? So if you're asking
and that's
for
okay.
woman,
if I don't understand,
I
don't understand.
I'm not saying it's okay. I'm just saying that what she's still asking for is still way too much.
One of the reasons I think she's asking for the amount of money is from the story. She had said that he wants to like throw her out of the house. So obviously she needs to get a house that meets the standard of the house that she's been living in and the kind of life she's been living for a long time. So,
and I think you also can't really put a price on a woman who's hurt.
True.
I don't think you can ever say it's too much money for her to ask. For me, the figures is not even her problem.
Do you know why you
I think
say
this
it's too
babe
much?
is hurt.
Do you know why you say it's too much? Because after 9 months, dude is done for.
You did not think about that when he was
He's
handling
probably not
mistresses.
going to have any money by the time he pays her for 9 months.
He'll be fine.
He's
We're still
not-
buying
he's
beats.
not even
and
a
besides,
billionaire
it's
no
just
more.
3 that she's aware of. We can't even tell.
What
then
if he's
also,
just a philanthropist, you know, just trying to help people? Why are you guys laughing? What if he has
wants
nothing
to buy
do?
a house for 3 women.
Yeah, he's just a philanthropist. That's what he is. He's not, you know.
he's a man, so he'll definitely say this.
No, I'm not going to defend. I don't like what I don't like. I'm not a cheat. So, yes, I'm not a cheat. So, I wouldn't support any man cheating. But what I would say is that I think women too, you know, and let us be coming down now. Let's be coming down like this.
On men, when they do things like that.
Money is a lot, is a whole lot. I know that it can be really annoying. I know we want to, you know, get vengeance. I know, but is it going to take away the hurt? It's not going to take it away. Would it make you stop crying? Does it still change the fact that that's the man you have 2 kids
But is it
with?
not better for me to be crying in one point?
It's going to
something-
solve a lot of
problems.
things, like a lot. You don't even want to know about it.
Well, that one, Desha. And then we have history of domestic violence as well. And if that is true, because that is still being investigated, then yes, maybe she should be asking for that money.
Yeah.
But not just because I'm sponsoring some other girl. You also
Really? It's
wanted
not
it.
enough reason? Do you
This
know how
is not enough.
devastating that is? You think it's only when they're beating somebody physically that the person can be hurt?
Yeah, I know there's
Exactly.
emotional, yeah. So all of that can come into play as well. But let's put all of that aside and let's just say that somebody you spent 25 years of your life with, do you really want to see them suffer?
Yes.
That is even one of the reasons why he should give her the money.
Exactly.
So do you really want to see him suffer? Do you want to see
He
him
might not
down
even
and
suffer
out?
after giving her the money.
What do
He might
would,
not.
because
He's
yes,
making money was to buy his beats by Dre. It's not like as if all the
They
money
bought
that's
it.
all the money that's
Apple
in
already
there.
bought Beats by Dre.
Okay, so he will not make
That's
any.
why he's no
He
longer
will
a
not make any
billionaire.
other money because of this.
When
thing.
last did you hear Dr. Dre make a beat? Like, he's still making beats, but when last did you hear him make a banger? Like, boom, that's Dr. Dre.
Dr. Joe will be fine, and if he's not fine, then he should be thinking about that before he got 3 mistresses and buying them houses. Because then that's not even
Allegedly.
a what's it called? She has a lawyer. She exists. It's more- I
Yeah.
think it's further than allegedly. But anyway, whatever. Today is 11th, and that means we're 3 days to Valentine's Day. Any plans? Why are you really like that?
I didn't even take note of that actually. But I did yesterday, but like today, no. Any plans? No
So
plans.
when you thought
personally.
about yesterday, what came to your mind?
Which guy are we going to?
No, nothing came to my mind. Thing is, I've never really thought about Valentine. I've never celebrated Valentine, so it's not a big thing for me.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I just thought about it because I know once it's Valentine, everywhere is usually the red, white is everywhere. And everybody's like Valentine. So
If
there's
you're not
nothing
that
for
has
me.
girlfriends, how far?
Oh.
What are the plans?
Huh?
What are your plans?
Huh? Corona. Can we just keep blaming COVID?
That's a very good one.
Can COVID
Honey,
keep taking
we need to stay safe.
Yeah.
We need to stay safe.
Social distance. See, this period we're
social distance. Right, absolutely.
Definitely.
Well, for the viewers out there who might have plans, and if you don't, you can stand a chance to win a Valentine's goodie bag courtesy of Oruko Yoruba Rewa and Rumi's Bistro. 10 winners will be selected on February 14th, which is on Sunday, Valentine's Day. All you need to do is follow us on Instagram at +TV Africa. You can also follow us at yorubaname.meanings and Ruby's Bistro. That is RUMBIESBISTRO. Drop your comments telling us why you would like to win the Valentine's goodie bag and tag at least 5 friends, including myself if I'm your friend. Good luck to that. Shall we move on to the next story?
Yes, ma'am.
Alrighty, veteran American actress Halle Berry found time to reply comments left by some disgruntled fans on her Instagram page. The Hollywood film star had shared a meme which read, "Women don't owe you nothing." She also wrote an accompanying caption thus saying, "And that is on Mary Had a Little Lamb," end of quote. A fan then tackled her for the statement by saying that men who bear the entire financial responsibilities of their wives deserve a lot. Berry replied that and said she does not fall in within that category, so she still doesn't owe you anything. Another follower berated her for not being able to keep a man. The former beauty queen, come Oscar award-winning actress, then replied that she's not interested in keeping a man. And she went back and forth with a lot of these fans now, betrotals now, what would we say? But do you think that Halle Berry can't keep a man?
I wouldn't know that, so maybe I have
Based
to.
on history now.
Based on history. She's had a lot of fallout. So I really don't know. But like she said, she's not interested in keeping a man. So I feel like Halle Berry is the type of woman that men would want to keep and she wouldn't want to. You know, a lot of men would probably want to date Halle Berry in the first month and be talking about marriage. And maybe that's something that I'll just throw out of balance and just want to make her disappear. So yes, maybe it's not a fault. Maybe they're just in a hurry because every man wants to keep an Halle Berry. But do women owe you anything? I don't think anybody owes anybody anything in the world. Do you understand? I think everybody should be allowed. But I think that a valid point is, what's the relationship? What is the connection? Do you understand? That's what would determine if we owe each other things. Because I owe my friends trust, loyalty.
Yeah.
You know, I owe my friends being a good friend. I owe them the truth. I owe my friends honesty. I owe my friends, you know, the basic things. So you can't tell me because my friend, and she's a woman, I don't owe her nothing. So I still owe everybody, depending on the relationship. I owe my family's responsibility. I owe my colleagues, you know, a beautiful work so it doesn't make their job look like trash. So I owe a lot of people things. So I still don't get that statement.
Yeah. I think I agree to that statement. The idea of like you don't owe anybody anything doesn't really sit well with me sometimes. I understand where that's coming from in regards to like putting yourself first and, you know, not being selfish and yada yada yada, but how ideal is it that you actually don't owe anybody anything, except you live in an island and you're really isolated from like the rest of the world? I think you owe people a level of decency. You owe people a level of responsibility, just being a decent person. But in regards to Halle Berry and not keeping a man...
I was going to ask that.
In regards to Halle Berry and not keeping a man, I think... it's a very backward mentality that people have, that you place value on women based on how well she can successfully achieve a good relationship. Like, even when you don't end up in marriage, there's something wrong with you and not the man.
Yeah.
If there is a single woman who's in her 30s and a single man in his 30s, the man is just chilling, taking his time.
Very
But the
relaxed.
woman has a
Time is
problem.
running
Her
out.
attitude is a bit
But
bad.
trust me, Nigerian parents don't see it that way, man. They still let you know that, man or no man. Yes, the society can, you know, be lenient on you, but your family, your parents can't be so lenient on you, especially when you're in your 30s and you're a man.
That's why it's Nigerian.
It's a Nigerian thing.
Yeah, so I think that's a very big problem that we have, and they are projecting that on Halle Berry. She's had series of relationships, but not every woman actually cares that much about compromising, and because you see a lot of, for example, now you see a lot of women that. How do I explain this? I personally think, okay, this might come across a bit off. I think once you enter marriage, you have decided to compromise. Because once you associate yourself to a man or to a human being, that person is not perfect. The person has issues. So already you know that you're compromising for some things. Every married person I've had a conversation with always says, yeah, you know, the man is not perfect, but da-da-da-da-da. And if some women just feel like they don't want to do that, then I think that that's okay as well. Like, if I don't want to compromise.
You know, the part where she said she doesn't owe anybody anything, I really want to understand, is she talking about anybody or the person she's involved with, any man she's involved with, or any just random man at all?
Right. That's another thing. So if she was saying that she wasn't owing anyone anything, would you agree to that statement?
Anyone anything? I would agree to that statement.
But if she
was saying any man, I would say no, because if you're involved with a man, just like you said, you should be ready to compromise and you should be ready to sacrifice until you owe the person something. I think so.
Yeah, and if you don't have that mindset, then maybe that's why you shouldn't be in a relationship. And maybe that's where she's coming from as well.
I think you owe everyone around you something. Everyone around you. I'm not just going to see you and fart.
Okay, how far? What if I said I want to fart? What if I want to fart? People fart all the time.
But people do. But I owe you guys that.
If you're coming from you, actually, you're not serious. So because if you mentioned something about now only owing your colleagues, what do you owe your colleagues? What do you owe your colleagues? You, if
you know we're on live television, right?
Actually, let me save you from this conversation.
No, you don't have to. I owe my colleagues, respect. You know,
from the lead to that scene.
Reciprocated respect. Now, mark my words, reciprocated.
Okay.
If you don't reciprocate it, you don't get it.
Would you say that if you're in an office setting, right? And let me ask you, Emerald. Do you think that it is unfair to make a lot of noise if you're in a public setting, like office?
Of course.
Would you say that that's respectful if I start to just make noise?
No, it's not.
What would you say about that statement?
I think that would be very awful, you know?
I cannot with you.
That would be very awful and very inconsiderate of any colleague to do that.
Why would they do that?
Why would they? How dare they?
My head is hurting. Please, let's just move on from this conversation.
Alrighty, let's move.
American reality TV star Kim Kardashian has slammed detractors who doubted that her 8-year-old daughter Northwest made a beautiful painting. The fashion entrepreneur took to her Instagram story to put the naysayers in their place. She wrote that no one should dare play with her when it comes to her children. The Keeping Up with the Kardashian star also revealed that North and her best friends have been taking a serious oil painting class that helps them to nurture and encourage their talents and creativity. The aspiring lawyer further stated that people should stop embarrassing themselves with the negative comments on her daughter's paintings. I want to know... Okay, so this story... when it comes to children and comments, I find it really weird when people on social media really feel like they have a right to really talk about, like I've seen people say like kids are not pretty or like
very
awful things, that kids are not pretty or that, they dressed really badly. Like what kind of sick person are you to make such a statement about children? First of all, you must be a big bully because this child has no say in a lot of things. And why are you doubting so much?
And this child is probably not going to see your comments.
Exactly.
So might see it.
Exactly.
Later.
So, no, even if they see it, because some of them have social media, that even makes it worse. Like, why are you talking?
Like, really affect them. Yeah.
It's very weird. I saw this video. I'll go back to Kardashian's story now. I saw this video about I think it was, not the tennis girl. What's her name now?
Serena Williams?
No, the sister. What's her name?
The sister's name?
Serena who now?
Serena.
Williams. This is Williams. This is Serena
What?
sister. Go on.
One of them, Sha. She was really young in an interview and she was...
Sissy.
No, it's not Sissy. Serena and
Let's go on.
Well, it's an entertainment table, so it's okay if you don't understand everything about sports.
No, but we should know those sisters.
Venus Williams. Yes. Okay, so Venus was on the table being interviewed by another, grown adult and everything. And then she said to him that, the guy asked her, like, do you think you can beat this other competitor or something? And then she was like, oh, no, she knows she can beat the person. She knows that for a fact. And they were like, are you sure that this person is, a really, I guess, big tennis player or whatever? Yeah. And then she was like, no, she knows for a fact. And he kept asking. Then the father now came in that if the child tells you that she can beat the person, end it there. that why are you pushing? Because then now you're creating doubts in that child's head. And when I saw the story, I felt like that's what these people who were in Kim Kardashian's thinking were trying to do without even knowing. Yes, they cannot have access to North directly, but when you see such a beautiful painting that looks like an adult could have made it, or like a proper artist could have made it, I think you are projecting your insecurities on that child by insisting that she's not the person that did it. A lot of the times with parents, I think, especially in this side of the world, we can be very flat with how we raise our children and not really like push for them to be really more, yes. I remember when we were younger, we would see Asians when they're younger, either in a movie or like fighting, and we'd be like, wow, how can they do such things that they're
very little?
Yeah, I think it's because we don't push our children that far in this side of the world and stuff. So in regards to Kim Kardashian and what she said, I absolutely agree. When it comes to children, you have to protect them from all the adults' insecurities, projecting your issues, your doubts on the kids and stuff. Because if she is taking the time for an 8-year-old to be doing oil painting classes is like an advanced type of art class. So for you to be doing all of that, then obviously you're onto something. And if you're not capable of even thinking that for your children, then that's on you, not on her.
Exactly.
But yeah,
I totally agree with her. And also, you know, when I saw the news, the fact that it's a painting, I was like, this is just a painting, even though it's an oil painting, which is different, yeah, but it's a painting, and a child of 8 years, it's very possible. Yeah. Like, we're having the argument, like, it's very possible that she did it, like 100% possible that she did it. And then if you mentioned of something, if you said that if
she was looking at a picture,
yes, it could be that she looked at something and just put out what she was looking at, or
it might even be
she drew it from her head.
Right. So you think it's not impossible for a child to be able to do that? It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
So look at the picture and draw it.
What if it was from her head? Is that what you're saying?
No, we're saying before now that if it was from her head, then we can people can really doubt it. But if she was actually looking from a picture and
that
doing
wasn't
the same
stated,
thing,
or maybe she was even looking outside the window that had that view.
Because the view was it's a tree and I think a seaside
on some mountain or a hill or something.
Because what I heard was that I have no interest in pictures.
And that looks like the kind of place that Northwest will be, anyways.
Yeah. So what I heard from an article online in America was that this painting is actually a famous painting done by someone else, like a very famous actor.
So that means there's every possibility that she
copied it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
And I guess the fact that she was quite good with how she painted it was it. See, guys, it's possible, guys. It's possible to paint.
What I want a lot of people to know is that Kant is not something that we should always, focus on. Because I was having a conversation with a senior colleague this morning, heart to heart talk, and it was like, there are things that I can do and you can't do, and there are things that you can't do that I can do. I said, no. If there's no can't in Ife's dictionary, Ife can do everything. He said, what do you mean? Like, you're going to make me start looking at you like a child? I said, yes, feel free to look at me like a child. But it is the way I have chosen to live my life. I know there is a word like can't. It's an English word. It's in the dictionary. I can tell you different meanings of can't. But is it applicable to my life?
Okay, so can you dance like Kafi? Because I know you cannot dance.
If I want to dance like Kafi, I can dance like Kafi.
That's true.
Yes, I just need to learn how to dance. The fact that I don't know.
So you don't think that there are things that you're incapable of doing?
I don't think there's anything I'm incapable of doing as long as I set my mind to it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to say anything about that.
Yeah, me neither. Because then I'll be doing the same thing that I just said that people should not be doing, which is projecting their fears on those other people. But I do think that there's limitations that each human has. There's some things that
there are no limitations.
That personally for me, I think that there are some physical limitations your body cannot do.
You think?
Yes, especially things that you have. How do I explain it? That there are things that you have years to get to. Like, in this world, you can't just get up and decide some things, right? If I want to become like a professional karate person, sometimes you might have to have been doing that ages before then. Like, you have to have been doing it years before.
You see movie stars that learn karate because of a movie in 6 months.
Exactly.
You're good at a few things. At least I can do a few moves and look like I know this thing.
Yeah, but then at the end of the day, you still need like stunts people to do some roles because some people are incapable of doing something.
But if I continue, consistency is key as well.
Yeah, agreed.
So if I continue, I'll probably be better than, Jet Li. Who says I can't be the next Ife Li?
I agree. I mean, I agree to that mindset, but I don't know. I don't think it's that simple to just.
It's not
say.
that simple, but just don't limit yourself. That's the whole message. It's
What
not
about things that you have to be naturally talented at, like maybe singing? Some
people still learn how to sing and do very well at it.
And who says I can't sing? And who says you can't sing?
No, I'm just
you
saying,
just need to learn
there's
your
some
voice,
things that are
bitch.
just like talents from.
Who says
even
you
talent,
can sing?
People also learn
how to sing.
Yes. Take for example, like there are people who are naturally like they dance so well. I don't know about Cafe if she has been dancing or I mean if it's a talent or she learns it. I really don't know. But I know that there are people who learn how to dance and they can actually dance dance very well.
Yeah.
So
fair. Okay, I guess.
Impossible, nothing.
Yes, hallelujah. Okay, music break. We'll be right back. Please don't go anywhere. There's more in store.
Yeah. Now only you to do me like you do. Do it your move, the dance you do. Now only you to do me like you do. Do it your move, the dance you do. Now only you to do me like you do. Now only you to do me like you do. The thing with the kill man, the past waiting you see now. Anyhow we be man, you go get as you feel now you are the giver, your vibe with the give life. Need you my next life, can't drop that good life, girl. Like wow. Girl, if you stay tonight, we go there alright. I think I do you right, like wow. Girl to the morning light, swear we go there alright. Yeah, now only you to do me like you do. Do it your move, the dance you do. See the things you do. Now only you to do me like you do. Do it your move, the dance you do. Now only you to do me like you do. Call upon me anytime when you down, feel lonely. Baby, we go look my side. Baby, we go call up me. Yeah, call upon me anytime when you down, feel lonely. Put the blame on me. Private trips while you dancing for me. Yeah, waiting in my mind. Yeah, if you stay tonight, I go do you right. Yeah, waiting in my mind. If you stay tonight, yeah, we go there for life. I'll pray. Say the loving that I feel today, where they give me little vibes all day. Make you know that bad man, make you go away. The feet say whatever they want to say. You the one make me got started, and this love will fade away. Now I just want you to do me right. Do it your move, the dance you do. Now only you to do me like you do. Do it your move, the dance you do. Now only you to do that in my way. Yeah, baby say the love where I get for you, my God. Yeah, make we know it.
It's Blaze and the Beat, baby.
Exactly
Don't you worry about tomorrow. Yesterday, why can't without you?
I said, take a leap of faith and wash the clouds from my eyes. Stumble on the hustle and pain, but I rise. Do you and keep your head up to the sky. Everybody got a time when you get it, just fly, 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 fly with a little bit of courage and a little bit of light. Gotta be strong now, cause you're running out of time. Make sure the little torch burns out through the night till you die, die, die.
Your destiny is sure. Nothing go tire if they wanna put you on a go. Your life is in his hands and nothing to you owe. Nothing go tire if they wanna bring you on along.
Another banger. I'm in love with plenty women. I know my marry all of them. It no matter the shape or color. I go make sure say I must collect. I get one will be my sponsor. I get one where they call me honey. One where they do me winchy winchy. She they do like patience or soko. Wale color. Get in my room make you lot on. Body they move like a python. Love where they giving me iron. Wale color. After the room to the palace. Then make you pose for my canon. Love where they boosting my iron. I too like woman. I too like woman. Me I know they burn. Me I know they burn. I too like woman. I too like woman. Me I nigga no go.